and still staying on the elections. At the moment, the electorate will have to choose 1 out of 18 persons contesting to be Nigeria's next president. But what does it really take to win the seat? In this story, Mr. Adegoke highlights some of the factors that play a key role in getting a candidate elected.
Elections are a tricky business all over the world, and Nigeria is no different. In February, citizens of Africa's largest democracy will head to the polls in what's shaping up to be one of the most hotly contested elections in a generation. Nigeria is facing a number of challenges: widespread insecurity, unemployment, and a stalling economy. Each one of the 18 candidates running for president claim they can turn the country around. But what does it take to actually win? Well, for starters, it helps a great deal if you're male. Like much of the world, the political arena in Nigeria is a boys' club. There has never been a female president or vice president in Nigeria, and the country has one of the lowest rates of female representation in politics on the continent. Cultural and religious norms, as well as the threat of intimidation, harassment, and abuse, are all factors that hinder women from running. Just 10% of all the candidates contesting for political office in 2023 are women, and just 1 of them is running for president. Next up, you need money, and lots of it. It's hard to pin down an exact number, but estimates say election spending could be as high as $2 billion. Let me break it down. The road to the presidency starts at the primaries, but before budding candidates can be considered, they must buy a nomination form. And the cost of these forms is astronomical.
For example, the nomination form for the ruling APC costs 100 million naira. That's roughly $230,000 and 3,000 times more than Nigeria's minimum wage.
Although many political parties, including the APC, give discounts for young people, those with disabilities, and women, campaigners say the high cost bars millions of others from getting involved in politics. Candidates must campaign for the primaries by persuading delegates to vote for them. Then once a candidate secures a ticket, there's a cost of the campaign itself. Mechanisms have been put in place to cap election spending by INEC, the body that runs Nigeria's elections, but these rules are not always enforced. In 2019, the 1 billion naira cap, which is about $2.2 million on spending, was breached by both major parties, but no sanctions were given. New spending caps were announced last year, so presidential candidates are not allowed to spend more than 5 billion naira, roughly $11 million. While money is important, it isn't the only thing that makes a winner. In Nigeria, who you know is just as important, maybe even more, than what you know. This is where political sponsors known as Godfathers come into play. Now, most times they don't run for election themselves, but many believe they play a key role in deciding who does. Godfathers use their money and influence to get their candidates elected. It's argued that Godfathers choose candidates based on their ability to repay them, as opposed to their political convictions. Although most of what Godfathers do is shrouded in secrecy, their influence is keenly felt. Even so, you still need more than that to win. In a multi-ethnic, multi-religious country like Nigeria, ethnicity and religion are complicated and emotive subjects, but for Nigerians, they are important ones. Many people vote along ethnic and religious lines, something that candidates are well aware of and have been accused of playing into. Nigeria has over 200 ethnic groups and 2 major religions, Christianity and Islam. To make sure no region or either of the big religions are left out of power, 2 measures have been adopted. Zoning, the practice of splitting the presidential and vice presidential candidates along the 6 geopolitical zones. So if a presidential candidate is a Christian from the north of Nigeria, his vice will be a Muslim from the south. The second is power rotation, which essentially means the presidency is supposed to alternate between the north and south. Advocates say these measures are the only way to ensure fair representation, while critics argue it's undemocratic and only favors majority ethnic groups. And last but not least, social media. Social media has been significant in Nigeria's electoral politics since 2011, but not without controversy. In addition to campaigning and sharing information, political parties also hire professional trolls to spread propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. Although this type of activity is arguably unethical, there are no specific laws against it. Some argue that social media's impact on elections is negligible, but this will likely be the first election where its impact can truly be measured. In the end, though, it all comes down to cold, hard votes. Who will win? Nigerians will decide.
Interesting.